Hello, and welcome to another episode of Be Well TV Live. I'm Heidi Brumbaugh from Be Well TV, and I am excited about today's guest. Brad Wilson is the owner of Brad Wilson Talent. Some of you from the events industry, many of my friends, may know him from the Three Waiters and some other groups that perform at your events, and many of the shows that he does are surprises, so you don't know the name. But Brad has a background in performing. He's a singer and actor and just an all-around funny and great, entertaining guy. For those of you that don't know anything about him, I'm going to show you a little video.
Hi, my name's Brad Wilson of Brad Wilson Talent. Just sitting here in my car thinking about all the things I can't do. I can't go to a party. Can't go to the store without a mask on my face. Can't go to people's houses and say hey. Can't go to the IALEA Awards. That one's tough. I wonder if there's a way.
For 30 plus years we create live events, that's IALEA. That's IALEA. Now we literally, virtually pivot our heads off IALEA. That's IALEA. 3,000 of us from all over the world, San Francisco to the Emirates, beyond. Presidents, old and new, Board of Govs, Team HQ, RVPs, and the members. President Dana McCauley, can you please do something about the virus? Yes, the virus. But tonight's all about all the winners that get the awards. Awards, awards. You are cool. Yes, you are. You are tough. Virtually amazing. So let's cheer and yell, send the virus to hell. That's IALEA, IALEA, IALEA.
Brad, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
For those viewing at home, IALEA is the International, what is it now? International Live Event Association. And that was a performance that Brad recorded for the annual gala that went virtual last year. And you're so very creative and offered that as a solution and a little bit lighthearted performance for so many of those in the industry that needed that laugh.
Yeah.
So Brad, thanks for being here. First of all, let's start with tell me what you've been doing over the last year, because as we know, we've had a handful of people here on the network on different shows that come from the events industry, and everyone's kind of handling it differently. What have you been doing?
Well, I basically became on my own as a self-employed person is basically the transition I did. For years have run the Three Waiters company, the family of shows that they do. But I started a few years ago representing them as an agent, and I did work for a great agency and spread my wings a little bit. So I worked for Innovative Entertainment for a few years. And because of the coronavirus, there was obviously restructuring all over the place. And we have real good partnership, really good relationship between me and Peter, and also Mark, the guy that owns the Three Waiters, or the main shareholder of the Three Waiters. And so we decided it would be best if I just represented them myself, and it's working out pretty well. Obviously, the coronavirus hasn't allowed us to do live events, which is typically what I've always done. So it's been different, but the videos have been fun, and I enjoy getting a little performing in, which I haven't done for a lot of times, a lot of years. And so, it's been good. But I think things are waking up. In my experience, I'm getting a lot more inquiries now than I did a month ago. and actually have a few events this month that are actually live. So
Yeah,
I'm
that's what
feeling
I'm
pretty good
hearing.
about the future.
I'm hearing that
Yeah,
kind of across the board. It's almost like the
yeah,
light switch is just about on, and
yeah,
everyone's bracing themselves to move at 100 miles per hour once that light
yeah,
switch is flipped on all the way. So you've
yeah,
actually, first of all, I want to say, like, I'm really grateful that we've become friends over the years, and it's a privilege to be part of your circle of friends and have the opportunity to kind of see into the inside of the Brad Wilson family and home, and everything that
yeah,
you share with your friends on social media, and you and I have talked about it
mm,
before,
mm,
is so entertaining. And I know that you have
mm,
some unique situations at home, and
yeah.
I love the way you handle everything that life throws at you. If you don't mind, can you
Mhm.
share kind of what your situation is at home?
Yeah, sure. And it kind of ties into why I started my own company. So, a few years ago, we discovered some developmental issues with both of our kids, particularly one of our kids, our daughter Steffi. She's now 12, and she's on the autism spectrum, basically nonverbal. She has words here and there, but they're very functional, need-based words. She's not going to carry a sentence or go back and forth in a conversation with you. And my son has also been diagnosed as being on the spectrum, but he's a different kind of person on the spectrum. He's more very verbal, actually, and but has different characteristics and stereotypies that people use that term to describe differences between a kid who's typical and a kid who has autism. And anyway, we ended up moving to Ohio from New York City, where I was based for many years, and it's a long story, but it had to do with schooling and it had to do with a better environment for the kids. And so technology was just good enough back then that we were able to do it. Now it's so much better. I mean, look, what we're doing now couldn't have been done 10 years ago in a practical way. And not too long after we moved to Ohio, my wife was diagnosed with cancer. So, and it's been quite serious and quite progressive over the years since. And so it's put me in a situation as a person who used to go to about 14 trade shows a year. I'd perform or oversee hundreds of events a year, to being basically housebound. And that's been part of the reason why I started my own company, because I have a roster of exclusive acts I represent. And also I can do other things for people, but I can do it more as a representative and less as talent. Pains me to not be talent and not to be out there as much as I should be or want to be, but given the circumstances, it's what I need to do. And so, having my own company and having the freedom to make those decisions it's been very helpful. So I hope that's a good summary.
Well, that is a
But
good
we
summary.
yeah, and like even right now, I've got my son in school in the other room. My wife is here as well. My daughter is back in live school fairly recently. They started allowing that in a safe way. But in reality, it is interruption city, and I have to schedule my calls very carefully and just be there for the people that need me to be there, but also meet my obligations to my customers and to the talent I represent.
Sure.
So it's a balancing
So,
act. Yeah.
what you're putting out there into the public is very, very positive, and I
Mhm.
know, like, I know you personally, so I know that you actually are a very positive person. So much of life is, we talked about this before. Lots of people, well, everyone deals with something. Everyone has something that weighs on them, and
Mhm.
positivity really ties back to how you handle your personal situation. How do you
Yeah.
stay positive? I mean, my God, you started your day at 2:45 a.m. today unexpectedly,
Yeah.
and here you are,
Yeah.
bright-eyed and
Yeah.
ready to go.
I don't feel bright-eyed. Yeah, my daughter has sleep issues, so she happened to get up at the crack of dawn. Not even the crack of dawn. 2:45 is not the crack of anything. The crack of frustration, maybe 2:45. But yeah, I'm feeling it. But I have a little personal philosophy tricks I use. I think rationalization has a bad reputation, but in reality, I think you adjust your expectations, and happiness often follows. And I jokingly say no one deserves to be happy. What I mean by that is that we apply the word deserve to a lot of things that you can't really control, and our circumstances are one of those things to some extent. So I feel like everything that we get that's positive is a gift, and everything that we consider negative can also be a positive, just depending on how you look at it. So I choose to not think about the circumstances and what I deserve or what I think I deserve, but more, this is what life has handed me, and this is what life has handed my family, and I'm going to deal with it. So beyond that level of thinking, I don't actually think that much. I try to stay action oriented. I try to stay on to what's next. What do I have to do next today? Um, and I don't worry about the future too far in advance, because the percentage of the things you worry about in the future don't end up happening. So I try to stay forward focused to plan ahead to some extent. But what I don't ever do is worry about things that may not happen. I try to stay as close to now as I can, and I try not to think a lot, and I just try to do a lot of positive things, make progress. If you have, everybody knows this. If you got 15 projects on your table and you don't get any of them done in a day, it's very frustrating. If you get a little bit done of each one, then you feel forward progress and you feel positive. So it's just basic things like that.
Yeah. Well, and from what from what I see, from what you share, you're very grateful for everything. It's small
Yeah.
victories and small things. I know that from what I see, progress that you see from your daughter when she actually does convey a message verbally, you show
Yeah.
gratitude for that and appreciation. And so many people
Yeah.
take little things like that for advantage and forget to appreciate what they have. And I think that's so
Yeah.
admirable.
Yeah, I mean, people go through a period of mourning. I think I know Sandy talks about this a lot. When she found out that Steffi had autism, she went through a period of mourning, because you think when you're having a kid, you're going to go on vacations with them, you're going to take them to the park, you're going to take them to museums and concerts, and with Steffi, none of that's in the cards. We some, somebody has to have eyeballs on the prize, so to speak, all the time. She could run out the door, she could go down the street, and she could get lost. So, when she does something like tell us a need or proactively converse with us, it's always great. And we have cultivated in her a loving relationship. Like love and care and people are very important to her, and that's a huge victory, because if you have anybody in your life, I'm speaking to anybody watching this, that has autism, you know that the personal connection is often really hard to get, and when you get those moments of connection, you celebrate them. Steffi is That's one huge thing, is that we have those connections all the time with her. She's very connected to us. It's more just issues of being able to tell us what she needs. What if she has a headache? What if she starts to get a fever or an infection? We have to figure out what her needs are. um, yeah, we have to obviously be aware of that. So the more she communicates with us, obviously, the better. And same thing with Vinny. Vinny's making progress in a lot of areas socially and educationally. We have him in virtual school now, which has helped, because he had some bullying going on in his life and in school, but also he's just learning more. So yeah, you make adjustments and you definitely celebrate the positives.
Now, from things that you've shared, again, Vinny seems like one of the most, first of all, hilarious, but most creative children I've ever seen. How do the two of
Yeah,
them interact
yeah.
together?
Well, he's aware, obviously very aware of her situation, and he does try to be helpful. He also knows he has autism. He actually came to us first with the idea that he might have it,
Oh,
so he was
wow.
looking online, and it was a really interesting day, to say the least. But um, hang on just a quick sec. There's interference here or something. Can you hear me? Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay. Okay. Great. I had an echo there. Um, so yeah, he's with him, autism allows him to be incredibly direct, and just his personality. And maybe it's just living at this house, because I do have a personality. It's probably rubbing off on him, and we do laugh a lot. He can rattle off these memes. I get memes on the internet. He makes up memes, books of them, and they're funny. He has a really good sense of humor. He has pretty good comic timing, and but he is absolutely unimpressed by me. Like if I told him, "Oh, I did a performance for the Prince of Monaco," he would be like, "That's great. You want to go on a walk?" He just does not. He's not impressed at all about anything in our industry, anything I do,
Right.
which is it can be really very funny. And he's so honest and completely direct. And I'm actually surprised he hasn't tried to come in here yet, even though I told him not to. But he's a very good boy. Yeah, I'm very proud of him.
He just seems like a lot of fun. So, Brad,
Yeah,
what do
yeah.
you do? I know that it's a lot of responsibility for you. So,
Mhm.
what do you do to keep yourself mentally and physically well so that you can keep up with daily surprises and your daily routine?
Yeah. Well, I must admit, I'm that's a work in progress. I definitely think, and I think it's right to say this. I don't have all the answers to anything. And when it comes to that kind of thing, I feel like I've got some work to do. Um, I would definitely suggest to anybody, that you have good friends, to have conversations with them where you don't expect them to have answers, but you just have them listen. I imagine that would be very helpful. Um, for me, it's just finding moments in my day where I have complete control over it. That moments of complete control over my schedule, over what I'm doing, is really helpful because I feel pretty much most of the time I'm responsible to someone else, and that means whether it be their care, their well-being, um, being a good listener, helping with classes or helping with life skill stuff. It We're just making sure they're safe. That's all. It puts you in a position of constantly being on guard, constantly. Your mind is always churning. Where are they? What's going on? And so what I tend to do is if the stars align, I'll get up at about 5:30, and I'll have about a half hour to an hour of time to myself. And I tend to exercise in the morning to get it out of the way. I think that's really important. I might say more about that in a second, but and get a catch up on the emails before things get going, and then I tend to do the same thing at night. Our family tends to get to bed at about 9, and so I've got between 9 and 10, 9 p.m. and 10 p.m. to maybe unwind. That's usually if I watch anything on TV. That's usually when I do it, or often or not often I'll do correspondence or do a quote or two as well. So those are the things I would suggest is definitely you can over volunteer. You can be too accessible to people. And I think
Right.
having boundaries or at least sequestering time for yourself is important. And as I said, I've got an open mind. I think I've got some work to do in that regard, but I'm staying sane so far.
Well, it
So
seems like you have a pretty good base. Right. You mentioned that you wanted to
mm,
talk a little bit more about your morning routine and keeping yourself physically
yeah,
active and fit.
yeah. Just I think that well, for one thing, it's for me. It's not a vanity thing. I have the reality of being. I'm a 53-year-old guy with kids on the autism spectrum, one of which, and possibly both of them, will have to stay with me and live with us. So I have to stay physically and mentally well as long as possible. And that's that. If there's anything that weighs on my mind, it's the future of my kids, and where they're going to be 20 years from now. So, um, and I, about when I was 40, I was starting to get really creaky, and I had some arthritis issues, psoriatic arthritis issues, and I was really in a lot of pain. And I thought I had to get control of my physical side of things. So I developed a little eating exercise plan for myself that it takes me on average about 20 minutes a day to do the physical stuff that I do. And I'm in better shape than I was when I was 40, absolutely. And I would say for my age, I get around really, really well. And it's just about super efficient exercise. And I tend to do a version of what people call HIIT, high intensity interval
Hmm.
training. It's not all I do, but that's like my basic thing in the morning. If it's like brushing your teeth, in my opinion, if you do that, then you don't have to worry about, oh, I forgot to go to the gym, or I didn't go running, or I didn't do my yoga class, all of which you should still do. But if you get your basic body maintenance out of the way in the morning and you've stretched and you've worked out and you've breathed hard and you've gotten your body metabolism kick-started. Then if you do miss the gym or do miss whatever it is you plan to do, you don't have that feeling of failure. And that's what causes people to stop exercising. It's the classic, January 1st, got the gym membership going, and by February 15th, you've fallen off the wagon and you're like, well, I'll start March 1st. And before you know it, you've wasted a year's membership at the gym. And event people have it worse than others because our schedules, not mine necessarily because of my lifestyle change, but most event professionals are staying up too late, getting up too early,
Right.
probably not eating properly. So if you can get your basic body maintenance done at the beginning of the day, you're in a healthier mental state so that you don't quit.
Right.
And I think that's to me the key. So that's my little plug for physical fitness. It doesn't have to take that long. All I do, 15 minutes a day. Just do it and don't quit and don't make excuses. I mean, I did it today and I got up at 2:45. I still did it. So it is possible.
Well, and for
Yeah.
anyone that's watching that wants to know how to do it, we have a show called Get Fit with the Body Smith, and it's 15 minutes, and there's a
Cool.
new episode every
Yeah.
Tuesday and Thursday. So if you don't know how to do it, you can just watch those videos at home, and they're easy to get that work in. And there's enough videos that you can have more than a week's worth of something different every day. So
Well, I'll have to look it up because I need variety too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Brad, what do you
Cool.
think is next in your life? Like we talked about in the beginning, it does seem like live events are coming back, and that is kind of your bread
Yeah.
and butter. Your life has changed so much, and your
Yeah.
reality has changed. What do you think is going to be next for you?
Well, I still am very, very thankful that, I continue to represent some of the core acts I've represented for years, and most of you would know me for. Surprise corporate theater, for lack of a better term, is what I describe a lot of what I'm expert in. I've started adding other things to my roster. I think exclusives are kind of nice if you keep them close to home and what you're knowledgeable about. I personally am going to keep a small roster of exclusives and then just be there for people that want to do more. I have a client, for instance, coming up in July who has, vignettes of entertainment all night long. So they got a couple things from the Three Waiters stable, and then I put together some custom stuff and so forth. So we're going to have a whole night of entertainment. So I see myself branching out into more original production or collaboration between talent. I do think the virtual video, that's probably not the right term, that's what I say. The videos, I believe in pre-recorded videos for myself personally to put out there for a corporate event solution, just because the technology I think allows for a better, more immersive, more higher quality sound and so forth. So I actually see those sticking around beyond the virtual events because if you put together a really great custom song, which I believe in doing them all customized for the client, I don't think you should just cover a song. It doesn't make sense to me. If you're writing about their event, about their goals, about their employees, it's got so much more value for them. So I actually almost insist clients do custom lyrics. And if you use them correctly, you could use them repurposed on your website for future things. So you could use it as an introduction if you're starting your event off with a bang and everybody's watching the big screen. So I think there's a lot of multimedia type things where entertainers can come in and produce their own version of that as a product in addition to the live stuff. And I do think that's going to stick around.
Well, I love that you're not leaving. I love that you're still going to be around
Yeah.
and you continue to create new
Yeah.
things. I love what you share with your friends and anyone that you call a friend. You're so entertaining. I'm so grateful to have you in my life. Please thank your family for allowing us to kind of invade your home for the last 25 minutes. I know you're very busy, and I really appreciate you taking the time. You're going to have a lot to do today and probably need a nap after that early wake-up call.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, I've got to get some costumes dry cleaned here for a future video that I'm doing this coming week. So, and I've got a lot of people wanting to go to contract, which is great. I mean, some of them are far in the future because they're being safe about it. But yeah, it's been really, really a good experience. I think one other thing I'll just mention to people, and this is nothing like a wisdom bomb by any means. It's just a realization I've had. everything that happens in your life is a building block to the future, and the bad and the good. Um, Obviously, coronavirus really sucks. We don't need to reiterate that, but it did cause a few bad things to happen, or at least they felt bad at the time for me. But I would have never had the courage to start my own company had I not spent my years with Innovative, learning a lot of things. And now I'm in a position where I am able to work from home, take care of my family. I'm not letting anybody down. If I take an afternoon off, if I make sure I've scheduled myself properly, and working for yourself does have some perks and some freedoms, and I am excited about that. But the 15 years, 20 years of entertainment experience working for other people has given me the ability to do this, and so all the good, all the bad adds up to what's happening to you now. And if your attitude is right, you can keep going and not, crying your soup. That's really, I think, just it's about forward motion, and it's about action rather than talking about it.
Agreed.
So yeah, that's
Agreed.
that's a little extra thing.
Where can somebody find you if they want to look you up?
Well, my website's really easy. It's www.bradwilsontalent.com. And that's where I have all my acts. I also maintain another website for the Three Waiters called the3waiters.com. I maintain that site for them. I actually built that site for them, so I can do that kind of thing too. And but I don't want to do any more than I don't want to go into the web business, but it is something I know how to do. And yeah, so that's where you can find me. And I'm really fun on the phone. I like to do demos on the phone for people so you really understand what you're doing. So I'll sing and act into the phone for you so you know what you're getting. And yeah, that's where you can find me.
All right, we're going to have to hear you sing now.
Okay. What do you want me to do? The classic Nessun Dorma ending? I don't know if let's see. Nessun Dorma is at the end of the Three Waiters. So it's Ma il mio mistero è chiuso in me, il nome mio nessun saprà, no, no, di legua notte, tramontata stelle, ad alba vincerò, vincerò.
I love
My
it.
earpods to your ears. Yeah. That sounded okay.
I love it. Brad, thank you so much. I love hearing you sing and
bet.
I love hearing you talk. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. Folks at home,
right.
please look Brad up. He does have videos on YouTube as well if you want to hear more of him singing himself and with some of the other performers that he works with. Please check him out, and I hope that you can see him live at an event that you attend in the future. Brad, thank you. Thank the family. Viewers at home, thank you so much. If you are interested in seeing more content like this, please go to bewelltv.org and subscribe. You'll get all of the latest news and hear about new shows. And you can check out the series of shows that we've already got online, and hopefully will contribute to your wellness. Folks at home, be well.